Hey everybody, really excited to be here with Pierre, who just broke into Twilio, made it happen rather quickly as well. I know you're going to drop some gems in today's conversation and share a lot about the effort that you expelled to make this happen. Obviously excited to have you here and maybe setting the stage for everyone. Share a little bit about your background and what got you looking at tech sales in the first place.
Yeah, so a little bit about my background is I've had over like 7+ years of outbound customer facing sales experience. And that's anywhere from, hospitality, retail, fitness, and, just all type of, even entrepreneurial as well. And now, I was wanting to transfer into tech sales specifically just to kind of challenge myself. I'm in a place right now where I want to increase my personal income and be able to invest into myself. And so I just knew tech sales would be a great path. And after doing research, I stumbled upon your YouTube videos and, a few other people as well. But once I got into your YouTube videos and even your free course, I just knew higher levels would be the place for me. So that's why I'm here today. And, that's why I locked in and got super serious about, this tech sales career.
Yeah, it's awesome, man. And credit to you for making it happen so quickly. We'll definitely get into that. Maybe just double tapping too when it came to higher levels. I know you mentioned the YouTube videos, some of the free resources we had, and everything else. Just curious, kind of what ultimately went into that decision, what made it stand out, and yeah, obviously excited to have you.
Yeah, so for me, what really went into the decision was when I was, comparing you to other programs were the wins. For me, I always knew at a young age, just growing up in an athletic family and a sports background and playing sports my whole life, you want to be surrounded around winners. And so when I, tuned in to higher levels, I seen you were a winner. I seen your partners were winners, and I also seen all of the testimonials that just inspired me more to believe that I can do it. Seeing people go from this position to this position quickly, and certain people it took a certain amount of time, but I see myself in the testimonials like, hey, if he can do it, I know for a fact I can do it. So that's kind of what separated high levels from everyone else to me.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. And I know you put a ton of work into making this happen so quickly. You had some really great interviews with very recognizable logos, let alone landed at Twilio, which is a great company to start your career as well.
Mhm.
Maybe just looking at kind of those first round interviews and getting several different interviews in the first place. I know because we talked offline, like some of the things that you did, but maybe paint the picture of the things that you did that really allowed you to get several different interviews.
Yeah. So first, what I did was I think it was a mental shift. So one thing I try to, let other students know, just like me, that, I got a job within 6 weeks, right? When I first came into the program, I was so delusional. I was like, hey, I'm gonna get a job within a week. My mind, and I didn't know that much about the tech sales industry. Like, hey, it's gonna take a couple of rounds. I didn't know, hey, just to interview process in itself would take 3 weeks sometimes. And so I kind of came with this aggressive, delusional mindset that I was just going to pop up and that I was going to be the person they wanted. They were going to speed up the process. And so through these first round interviews, I just really, really like, I don't know if people know about guerrilla marketing, but I did guerrilla outreach, right? If I seen a company I liked, I applied to it online, I applied to it on a natural LinkedIn link or their website link. And then I got a Zoom call with account executives, SDRs. I reached out to people in our community, strangers. And everything I was doing was I was trying to get the meeting. I was operating like I was SDR. So I was like, hey, can we get a Zoom? Can I get a 15 minute, just to pick your brain? I wasn't trying to oversell myself and say, hey, can you, before I get on the call, can you recommend me to the company? So the first round was just me getting on Zoom calls, like, hey, 15 minutes just to pick your brain. And from there, I started learning about the tech sales industry and the 2025 tactics that you've mentioned in recent videos that actually work now, because I was making mistakes like everybody else with just applying and not making, those needed connections. And once I learned the right 2025 tactics, it was, hey, Zoom call, let me ask them specifically how their company structures it. Uh, and if our conversation goes great, they like me, and they feel like they can trust me, I asked for the recommendation. Sometimes I didn't, it was based off of energy. And sometimes I didn't even have to ask for the recommendation. They liked me so much that it was like, hey, I can recommend you. So that was kind of how my process went without, I mean, I think I said it a lot. So it's just, being transparent.
No, that's great, man. And I think again, yeah, it's I think generally speaking, like people know kind of the things to do. Like I should maybe outreach to people like in their head, they're like, yeah, that would put me above and beyond. But I can tell by how much you did it as well, you're kind of understanding the nuances and not just positioning yourself as a generically ambitious and interested person, but like the person for the job, which is awesome to see. Maybe, I mean, if you don't mind me asking, like I know obviously you made this happen really quickly. You got a great outcome. You did experience a little bit of failure along the way, which is like part of this process. Like we're very transparent about not getting every interview that you have. It's not going to turn into a job opportunity. So I'd leave it wide open. But if you're comfortable sharing like any one or two failures along the way and some key learnings from those mistakes.
Yeah. So for me, I think I went through the same experience everyone has went through. It's like I went through rejection as well, and that's a part of the process, right? So one thing I wanted to do was, I know you recommend, Eric, like, hey, start when you first start your process, maybe start with companies that aren't your ideal yet, so you can get the practice rep in with the interviews, which is something I would recommend if you're not ready to take the rejection from your favorite company. So at the beginning, for me, I kind of flipped it. I wanted to challenge myself. I said, hey, let me apply to the Apples and Googles of the tech sales, field, in these tech companies, not those companies specifically, but, higher level companies. And I went through the interview process. And like I said, I'm not going to name the company, but one company, it was super intense, right? And I just learned, I already knew how serious it was, but I just learned how much of you really, really, really have to take this serious. When you're going with these huge corporations, you got to think about it as if you were an athlete getting offers from colleges and high school, right? It's like it's other talented individuals that's going to be competing just like you, especially in 2025. So some of the learning lessons I would say I learned was, it's not just you. I mean, it's people that's just as good as you, that did just as much as work as you, and that have the best resume. They've already got tech sales experience. So how can you really separate yourself? So some of my learning, like I said, one of the major learning experiences for me was just like, hey, you don't have tech sales experience. Okay, that's okay. You have sales experience. That's good. How are you going to separate yourself from those guys that's killers just like you that have tech sales experience? Because you're in these big companies that you're the Snowflakes, the Salesforces, the HubSpots, the Twilios, these other competitive companies. How are you going to separate yourself against the guy or the girl that has all the experience in the world in the field? And so for me, it was just an energy thing. I was super confident in myself. With one company, it was a huge company. Like I said, we was at the long table. I'm just giving this story real quick. We was at the long office table in the meeting, and I was like, before I went in, I was talking to other people in the interview process because I wanted to get the jitters off me, and they was nervous as well. And so when I got into the interview in the conference with two, bad cop, good cop type of interview, one person loved me, the other person was like, and for me, I just was confident. I felt like I was in a presentation like in college. Like when you have to present in front of the classroom, I mean, I was talking like I was in a public speaking contest, and I was just excited. And I think that helped, and that gave me extreme confidence because I was so nervous that I did it just like sports. Like, hey, we're gonna have the game anyway. Let me just have good energy. Let me give them full effort. And what comes from that, if I win or lose, that's not on me. So I think that's what helped me is like from the jump from these huge companies, I just did what I know I can do. I said, hey, I'm an optimistic guy, high energy. I'm a team player. So when I get in these interviews, I'm gonna show that. And the right company is gonna love it because to me, those are winner, trades. So that's kind of how I did in the first, round. I'm sorry being long-winded. I just want to give everybody everything, that
No,
I
this is
wish,
great, man.
I could hear. So yeah.
No, I totally agree. And I think it's really great to hear from someone who just did it as well, because this is the kind of perspective, especially as this career gets more highly sought after, more competitive. I think you laid it out really well in a way that someone on the outside looking in may not understand. It's like you have that baseline skill set, you put in the practice, you prepare all of these things like your resume, your talk tracks. And then to your point, it's like you look for those opportunities in real time because you put in so much preparation up front. Now you look in real time kind of for those opportunities to stand out in one way or the other. It's not doing something crazy or totally different or all of that thing, but it's like why would they pick you, assuming all things are equal, with probably at least 3 to 5 other people? And I think you laid that out in a way that is refreshing to hear, because that's like something that's really hard sometimes to get through to people, of like, you can know it, you can be good, you can learn and study up, but how are you going to take that extra step in real time in these mid and final round interviews? So awesome perspective. And maybe, just one more question on the interview process too, as well. I don't know what kinds of exercises you had to go through, whether you had like cold call, mock call, all these things, but any learnings there, any advice you could give to anyone on the outside looking in as well?
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Like I said, these interview process, I'm telling you, I don't know how they used to be, but like in the new age, it's like in 2025 let me tell you, they've seen everything under the sun. So they're going to test you. They want to know, like, even if you haven't been in this industry, do you know about their products? Do you understand, the concepts of being a sales representative, a SDR? Do you understand sales? Are you afraid to do a mock call, market analysis? So some of the things I did for the companies, like I said, I did market analysis. I did like 2 of them. I did one market analysis on Nike. I did another market analysis on Adidas, because the company had already worked with Nike. And I also did a cold call as well. Um, I did actually a few, and just a little nugget too, kind of on how I prepared, because I know, I think the way I prepared can kind of help a lot of new students, because all I did was take everything you've been saying and added kind of my things to it. Really, I've been taking things from the testimonials too, but like one way I prepare is like, whenever I do get the interview, and whether it's a company I love or I don't, I always prepare a 90-day plan for the company, for me and that person. For me and the company, you know what I mean? For me, so I can study, so I can know about the products, but also for the company, so I can send out throughout the process to let them know, hey, this is what separates me against the guy that got 5 years at tech sales. Maybe he is 5 years and he's great, he got great numbers, but I'm willing to do everything I can to be prepared and, show you what I'm willing to do. So I would have that 90-day plan. I would study that. And then I would get on the call with people in the company. And whether it's a market analysis, whether it's a cold call, whether it's what interview questions do you have, I practice with people that's already in the company. So if I were going for a huge company, Oracle or something like that, I'm getting on a call with someone that has years in the company, whether it's an account executive or a winning SDR. And I'm like, hey, after I formed that relationship through that first Zoom, let's get into maybe a mock call if you don't mind, so you can coach me up. And they're willing to do it. A lot of people don't, reach out to people because they're afraid and they think they're going to get a no. But it's like a lot of people want to help you. People want to help people that want to help themselves. So like I said, I would do that and practice with people in the team, and they would give me good feedback like, hey, you're going to get the position. So now I'm confident going into these things. And what I learned from, again, with that first tech sales company that was super serious, I took the other interviews, like I practically passed with flying colors. They were like, you're super prepared, because I did those type of things.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I mean, so many great takeaways. And yeah, it truly is like, yeah, I think you're a great example of what to do, which is like, you've put in a ton of preparation, but you also got out there quickly. And I think it's like when you match the theory, if you will, or like all the lessons in higher levels with actually getting out there and seeing it kind of in real time, it just snaps into place so much faster than just, doom scrolling videos or just kind of like preparing your resume for 2 months and not actually taking action. So, I mean, so many great takeaways. And maybe kind of going towards a close too, if there's anything you haven't covered, or maybe just advice to call it your younger self or someone out there on the fence, I'd leave it open to you. But yeah, thanks again for all the nuggets. This is a great conversation. So.
Yeah, thank you, Eric. So advice to my younger self, or maybe to someone else, is, if you're on the fence, make the choice, make the decision. I was just listening to an interview last night with Brian Tracy, and people should check out people like Brian Tracy and these people that talk about mindset and sales and stuff like that, because it's really a mindset thing. And so if you're on the fence and you're here to watch, like you're watching the video right now, this testimonial is obvious for a reason. So what I would do is I would just jump, you know what I mean? Make the choice, make the decision. And when you make the decision to win. It is a difference between winning and losing. I mean, losing is when you quit, but you're going to learn throughout the process. But when I mean like win, I mean, if you don't come from an athletic background, you still have, you understand competition. You understand that, hey, in this type of role, it's just like being an athlete. It is competitive. So how can you be number one? So if I could talk to someone, I would say, hey, join higher levels. If you're on the fence, just join, you know, find whatever you can do to get the finances if you don't have it and just take the risk. And once you get in higher levels, try to be number one. And they're like, oh, what does number one mean? It's a leaderboard. It's competitive again. I mean, when I'm in interviews, I mention higher levels. And I mentioned, me striving to be number one in this community with so many people that win. When I got in higher levels, one of my biggest goals was to be number one on the leaderboard. And some people be like, who is he? Why would you want to be number one? Like, what's so important about being number one? Well, when you're number one on the leaderboards at higher levels, or when you're trying to be top three, trying to be active in the community, once you do ask for um a specific recommendation in the community, guess what? People are willing to do it because they see you're active. You know what I mean? So for me, I would just tell somebody, join, try to be number one, try to be active, because once you're active and you do reach out, you do make these connections, people are willing to put their name on the line for you because they see that you're the number one. They see that you're trying to be like, you really want to take this serious. And do you think people want to recommend someone that they never seen active, or do you think people want to recommend people that they see on the timeline all the time, always, saying positive things and, wanting to, show that they want to be here, that they want to be in the tech career?
Yeah, no, really well said, man. Yeah, it's funny. You're drumming up some past experiences where, yeah, people reached out to me and like I'll take a call with them and literally 5 seconds in, they're like, "So can you recommend me to XYZ company?" I'm like, I have 5 seconds of context on you, you know what I mean? So it's
Yes.
just another great example of like all the things you're doing at an exceptional level. And again, like I think when you have such like focused attention, you can make it happen so quickly. And obviously a great example here. Really stoked to see you land at Twilio too. An awesome company to kick your career off, not only as an SDR, but we're also seeing others from the higher levels community that have gone on to promote to AE and beyond. So definitely excited to see where it takes you 12, 24, 36 months from now. But Pierre, thanks again, man. If there's anything else, feel free. But yeah, really appreciate your time.
Yeah, I guess I would just leave it with, hey, everybody in higher levels, thank you so much. Thank you for the energy. Higher levels has great energy in the community. Thank you for everybody that reaches out, that wants to get on calls. And like I tell everybody that I get on a call with that's a student, this is what you're supposed to do. This is what I did. I got on a call with people in the community just to start it off and kind of got the ice, off my shoulders, being afraid and stuff like that. And just, if anybody wants to reach out to me, hey, I'm open. I'm a person. If you reach out to me today, I'm gonna say, hey, are you free in the next hour? Are you free in the next 30 minutes? So we can get on a call so we can see what it is. And, I guess, my last thing I would say before I get off is, what I've noticed too with a lot of students is a lot of students are brilliant, confident, and charismatic, but a lot of us are doubting ourselves, and because we're in tech sales, we're overthinking the process. And it's a winning formula, just like math. 1 + 1 = 2. So if you do what all these testimonials are saying and what these people are saying in these testimonials, you're going to get the results. I was in your position. I was watching testimonials. Like, I was watching testimonials, but like, now I'm the testimonial. 6 weeks, I'm the testimony. So it is real, it is true, but you have to put in the work. You have to get on call. You have to, try your best. I mean, that would be my advice to end this.
It's awesome, man. I'm fired up. I'm ready to run through a wall, man. I appreciate it, man. And obviously congrats again. And yeah, appreciate all the time and insights.